Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're all well. Today, I just wanted to go over a couple of things that I've seen recently. I've seen a couple of people do videos on this Aryan Brotherhood that Chris is supposedly going to join. And it's breaking news. People are reacting to it and people are getting all et up about it. I wanted to have a quick look about it and just give you my opinion on it, really. So let's look at it first and then I'll tell you what I think.
It's something that should terrify every single person watching this video. Chris Watts. The name alone makes your skin crawl. The man who took everything from Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. He's been living in isolation. Protected. Separated. But 3 weeks ago...
So first of all, there's an AI voice, so they can't even be bothered to use their own voice, which is fine. AI's okay for some things, but that's the first thing that sets off alarm bells. They've already pronounced their name wrong, which anybody could do, but that leads me to believe not a lot of research has gone into this. And it's not even about making the effort as a channel. Well, it is a lot, because you have to do due diligence as a channel. People watch these things and then they take them as the truth, and it causes a lot of harm to people who try to stick to the facts.
Something changed. The Aryan Brotherhood, one of the most violent prison organizations in American history.
Aryan Brotherhood spelt wrong.
They didn't just find him. They approached him. And what they want, nobody saw coming. Before
Didn't just find him, they approached him, okay?
Before we go any further, I need to tell you something important. Now, before we dive into what's happening behind those prison walls, we need to remember who this is really about. Shanann Watts, a devoted mother.
There we go. Pronounced the name wrong again. That's twice in the first 2 minutes. It's not very respectful, is it? Like I say, I get things wrong. Everybody gets things wrong. But it just, the more the video goes on, the more I can tell that this is not like good for the rest of us who try to do the decent thing.
Mother, a loving wife, a woman who built a life filled with hope. Bella Watts, 4 years old, full of life and laughter. Celeste Watts, 3 years old, still learning the world. And Nico, who never got the chance to take his first breath. 4 souls, 4 lights extinguished by the one person who was supposed to protect them. If you're watching this, and your heart breaks for this family the way mine does, type Amen in the comments right now. Let their family know they're not forgotten.
His heart breaks for this family like his does. Yet he can't pronounce their name correctly. And what do you think? Do you think he's invested time and effort into this? I just think it's this type of stuff does damage and paints us all with a shitty brush.
Let them know the world still stands with them. Now, I'm going to be honest with you about something. As an investigative reporter, getting information about what's happening,
I'll put money, every single cent in my bank account, that this person is not an investigative reporter. I could be wrong. I doubt it.
happening inside these prison walls? It's nearly impossible. My sources are limited. Records are sealed. People are afraid to talk. But when you subscribe to this channel, you're not just hitting a button.
Who's afraid to talk? People either want to talk or they don't want to talk. Who's afraid to talk? Like I say again, I don't know everything. I could be wrong. But who's afraid to talk and who's not afraid to talk?
Know they're not forgotten. Let them know the world still stands with them. Now, I'm going to be honest with you about something. As an investigative reporter, getting information about what's happening inside these prison walls, it's nearly impossible. My sources are limited.
I'll tell you what's going on inside those prison walls. The same as what's been going on in those prison walls for the last 7 years. Absolutely nothing. The same routine that he does every day, day in, day out, probably. Nothing extra, nothing more, nothing less. The same thing that he was doing 6 years or 7 years ago, right up to now.
Records are sealed. People are afraid to talk. But when you subscribe to this channel, you're not just hitting a button. You're giving me the resources and the backing.
Not trying to even like pick on a channel or demean a channel or take the piss out of a channel. I'm just pointing it out because it spoils it for people that are trying to do things properly. Does that make sense to people? Yeah, people watch this stuff. Like, we're only a minute or 2 minutes in. You can tell no care and no thought's been taken into this. It's just a pain, like, because you all get tarred with the same brush.
To dig deeper, to find the truth that others won't report, to hold people accountable. The more support this channel has, the more doors open, the more questions I can ask, the more truth we can uncover together. That's why this community matters. That's why you matter. Now let me tell you what I've uncovered. When Chris Watts arrived at Dodge Correctional in December 2018, prison officials knew they had a problem. Child killers don't last long in general population. But a father who annihilated his entire family? There's a code in prison. And Chris Watts violated the most sacred rule, so he was placed in protective custody.
I just noticed whilst I've been editing, they just said that he was in general population and now he's in protective custody. So which one is it?
23 hours a day in a cell. 1 hour of recreation. Alone. No contact. No interaction. For 6 years, this was his existence. But here's what most people don't understand about isolation. It doesn't protect you. It makes you vulnerable. Because the longer you're alone, the more desperate you become. The more willing you are to accept any human connection. The Aryan Brotherhood, founded in 1964 at San Quentin State Prison. They represent less than 0.1% of the prison population.
Basically, they've been approaching him, have they? Well, so all these claims that this gang are now approaching him. Breaking news, these gangs are wanting to take him under their wing. I can guarantee you that would have happened within the first few weeks of him being in prison. Within the first few weeks of him being in prison, he would have had to have decided, I'm not 100% on American prison politics, but I know how it works in the British system. I think in America you have to decide pretty quick if you're going to join on which side you're going to go on. If he was going to be approached by a gang, he would have been approached by a gang within the first few weeks of him even walking into prison. So why is this news now? I mean, I don't even know really if I should make a video on this because it sounds like I'm bitching, but I'm not. But when you're getting things wrong, when people get things wrong because of lack of effort, if it was genuine mistakes, then fair enough. But when it's lack of effort, just don't think that's right.
Do you think a man like Chris Watts, after 6 years of complete isolation, after losing everything, would he be capable of saying no to the first?
I'm not 100% in the know, but I can probably put money on that he hasn't been in complete isolation for all that time. Just saying.
People who offer him protection? Who offer him community? Drop a 1 in the comments if you think he'd resist. Drop a 2 if you think he's already compromised. Because what I'm about to show you, it's going to challenge everything you think you know about this case. Here's what I've been able to piece together. Chris Watts is in the recreation yard during his 1 hour of outside time. He's alone. He's always alone. But on this day, someone else is there. Now, the fact that another inmate was in that space at the same time, that doesn't happen by accident. Schedules are controlled. Movements are tracked. Which means someone on the inside, someone with authority, arranged this meeting. The inmate's name? I can't release it. My source's safety depends on confidentiality. But I can tell you this.
Won't release it or can't release it because you don't know, because it's all made up.
He's a high-ranking member of the Aryan Brotherhood, and he delivered a message. According to my source, the conversation lasted less than 4 minutes.
Let's go with it.
But in those 4 minutes, Chris Watts was...
Let's just go with it. Let's believe that he's being approached by a gang right now. At very minimum, I think you could have the decency to narrate it yourself. And if you cared that much about the family, and you really, really cared, you've gotten their name wrong twice within the first 2 minutes. You could blame it on AI, I suppose. Am I just being too picky? Am I being too picky? I don't think I am being too picky when it gives other people bad names. We've already got the media going after creators with this new law. The Jay Slater case, which was covered heavily by Wax Unfiltered, they've gone after him in a Channel 4 documentary when he's probably the only one that's been telling the truth throughout the whole thing.
Content creators,
Was it the same old faces popping up again and again?
yeah, it was. The main ones, yeah.
And was there ever any attempt to basically get them to shut up?
Flipping out, you want to go and get revenge, you know, but...
Revenge on what? But she's sitting here talking about getting revenge on us, like we've done something wrong. Like we've gone out and killed your son.
Detectives.
Yeah,
No knowledge.
detectives, content creators.
No one has ever received an email from the Duncans or the Slaters to say, can you please stop talking about Jay Slater? In fact, I mentioned to Jay's dad, Warren, last year and said to him, if you want us to stop talking about Jay, let me know. Bearing in mind, I'm the go-to guy for people. People are watching me more than they're watching anyone else. So you let me know if we should stop talking about Jay and I'll let the world know. Did they tell us to stop talking about Jay? No.
Social media, to be honest, like YouTube, TikTok, this dark side of social media.
Wow.
Just flipping out, yeah.
You didn't see how dark it was when Lucy and them lot were covering their tracks before you actually realised what social media was.
But yeah, same content creators. And then they kind of like one will do a video about a certain thing, then you'll find like the other ones like jump on it as well, you know, and then this one will have like, I mean, the views on some of the thousands and thousands of views.
To be fair, it's not just the people who are making the videos.
No, it's the
those who are liking and sharing and then emboldening them to make more videos.
Yeah.
They have to be held responsible in some way.
Oh, no, we're going to shut down the whole internet.
It's the mainstream media that spread the lies, yet they want to call out Wax. That's a whole other video to go into, which I will do. I'll explain all that when I get a chance. Even the mother of Jay that passed away in Tenerife is being manipulated by mainstream media to stop content creators saying what they want to say. Like I say, there's a difference between being careful and trying to do things as respectfully as you can, and then just putting any old slop out that's not fact-checked. I mean, I don't know. I get things wrong, but I try and make the effort. Try not to speculate a lot, especially if I'm speculating. I certainly wouldn't speculate something that would be highly upsetting. If I thought something that was a very touchy subject, I wouldn't just blurt it out. Rambling now, but I'm trying to get my point across.
It's presented with an offer, not protection. That's not how they operate. Information. You see, the Aryan Brotherhood has been watching Chris Watts, studying him, and they've noticed something that the rest of us missed. His mail, his visitor logs, his commissary records. Someone on the outside has been supporting him. Someone with money. Someone with resources. And the Brotherhood wants to...
No shit. Someone's been supporting him. Well, he's probably working in the jail, so he probably gets money for that. And you're only allowed to spend so much a day anyway, so he probably earns every week, whatever he's doing. And we've all seen the videos with his mum, his dad and his sister. They're all still talking to him. So they're going to send him cash, so it doesn't take a genius to work it out. It sounds like I'm nitpicking the channel, and I suppose I am in a way, but...
Know who. Now this is where it gets disturbing. There's a theory circulating in the true crime community. One that law enforcement has quietly investigated but never publicly confirmed. What if Chris Watts wasn't acting alone? I know what you're thinking. The evidence was clear. The confession was detailed. He acted alone. But here's what doesn't add up. The financial transactions in the weeks before the murders, the encrypted messaging app on his phone that was never fully recovered, the witness who reported seeing a second vehicle near the oil field, the timeline gaps that were never explained.
This Black Friday, height-adjustable desks, ergonomic chairs, and accessories are up to 50% off. Shop at desktronic.co.uk.
There was, in the discovery, I think it says like 20,000 images that weren't even looked at, if I read it properly. So that would be interesting.
Why? Because information is currency in prison.
Tuna and noodles are currency in prison. And shower gel.
Information about someone powerful on the outside. And if Chris Watts has information about someone powerful on the outside, that's worth more than gold. I'm going to show you something that's never been released to the public.
Woo!
Before I do, I need to say this. The reason I can bring you this information, the reason I can spend months investigating, interviewing sources, analyzing documents, is because this channel has grown into something bigger than just me. This community has become a force for truth. And if you're watching this right now, if you're invested in finding answers, you're already part of that. The button below this video.
We are part of it.
That's how we keep growing. That's how we keep digging. No pressure. But know that every person here makes this work possible. Now, let me show you what I found. Here's what terrifies me about this situation. And this is bigger than Chris Watts. This is about the direction our prison system is heading. When we allow organized criminal networks to operate with this level of sophistication inside our corrections facilities, when high-ranking gang members can orchestrate meetings with high-profile inmates, the Aryan Brotherhood believes someone helped him, or knew about it, or benefited from it, and they want to find out who.
Eradicate the gangs? Is that what we're going to do?
When information can flow freely between the inside and the outside, we're not running prison.
Yeah, it's called a telephone. Would that be information running freely from inside to outside? We would call that a telephone? That doesn't even make sense, that sentence. I'm not going back to it.
From inside prisons has doubled. This isn't just about Chris Watts being approached. This is about a system that's breaking down. One that's becoming more dangerous every single day. My investigation led me to contact 7 different former correction officers. Only 2 were willing to talk on condition of anonymity. What they told me was chilling. The Aryan Brotherhood isn't just operating in Dodge Correctional.
No shit. You're kidding.
They have networks in 39 states. They communicate through coded letters, corrupted officers, and even smuggled cell phones. And
no. I need to tell my mum. I'm gonna ring the police and tell them they've been smuggling phones. Who would have thought they would have been smuggling phones into prison, Taz? Taz? No, not interested. He's been watching this and fallen asleep.
Chris Watts. He's just one target in a much larger operation. They've approached other high-profile inmates. Other people who might have valuable information. Other people who are isolated and vulnerable. Option 1. He cooperates. He gives them information. He becomes an asset. If he does this, he gains protection.
What information has he got? I want to know. Please tell me. Please tell me. Can you email me and please tell me? Awake now, are you? You hear his tail flapping. Flap, 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 flap. Flap, flap, flap. Ta-dee. That's... Woo! That's... He's saying turn it off.
Access. Community. But he also becomes complicit in whatever the Brotherhood is planning. Option 2. He refuses. He stays silent. He continues in isolation. If he does this, he remains a target. And the Brotherhood doesn't forgive. They don't forget. Option 3. He reports this to prison officials. And if he does this...
Do not do that one.
Well, there are some things worse than isolation. I need your honest opinion on something. Do you think Chris Watts deserves protection from prison gangs?
No.
Or is this just karma playing out in real time? Shanann's parents, Frank and Sandra Zuzek, have had to live with unimaginable pain.
What was that then? Suzuk. I think he got her name right. Finally. What did he call them? The Suzuks.
Shanann's parents, Frank and Sandra Zuzek. If you think the prison system has a responsibility to keep him safe, comment karma. If you think he's getting what he deserves, this is complicated, and I want to know where you stand. In all of this, in the prison...
Subscribe to my channel.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Easy to forget that every update, it reopens the wound. I spoke with a family spokesperson last week. They declined to comment on the Brotherhood situation, the wound, specifically. But they did say this. We pray that justice continues to be served. not just in the courtroom, but in every aspect of Chris Watts' life. He took everything from us, and we have to trust that some form of accountability.
There's more thought gone into the music than there has in the script.
How does a man like Chris Watts, no criminal history, no warning signs visible to law enforcement, how does he become a family annihilator? I've reviewed the case files. I've interviewed forensic psychologists. I've studied the patterns. And what I've learned is this. We missed the signs because we weren't looking for them.
Really? We missed the signs because we weren't looking for them.
Our social services, our community networks, our support structures, they're not designed to catch this kind of evil until it's too late. That needs to change. Because while we're focused on what's happening to Chris Watts in prison, there are other Chris Watts out there, living
Music
double
started
lives,
up again.
hiding in plain sight. And the next Shanann, the next Bella, the next Celeste, they need us to do better. I want to ask you something. How many people do you think are watching this video right now who have someone in their life that makes them uncomfortable? Someone whose behavior doesn't quite add up. Someone who seems too perfect, too controlled. If that's you, trust your instincts. And if you're someone who wants to be part of preventing the next tragedy, of supporting channels that investigate these cases, that hold people accountable, that refuse to let victims be forgotten, you know what to do. This isn't just entertainment. This is a mission. And I need people who are ready to be part of it. Now let me show you what's happening right now. As of yesterday afternoon, I received confirmation from my source that Chris Watts has been moved. He's no longer in his original cell block. He's been relocated to a different section of the prison. Now, the Department of Corrections released a statement saying this is routine housing reassignment. But I spoke with a former warden who says that's nonsense. You don't move a high-profile protective custody inmate without cause. Something happened. Either a threat was made, or intelligence was gathered that required immediate action. So what happened? My theory, and I want to be clear, this is based on confidential source information that I cannot fully verify. My theory is that Chris Watts is now cooperating, not with the Brotherhood, with the FBI. Here's what most people don't know. The FBI has been investigating Aryan Brotherhood activity in Wisconsin prisons for the last 18 months.
Are you kidding me? They've probably been investigating gangs in prison since the beginning of time. Not just the last 18 months. It's so poorly researched. I'm convinced someone's just put ChatGPT, give me some script on Chris Watts and the Aryan Brotherhood. And this is what's come up with it. This little storyline. If it's true, then I don't know, I just can't see it being true. There's not much care being taken anyway. There's not much due diligence been done with it. Do you think I'm just being picky? Or have I got a point? Because if it isn't true, this is how misinformation spreads. You can't just put out something. If you believe it to be true, and you wholeheartedly believe it to be true, and then you make a mistake, I don't even know whether to release this video.
Crime, interstate operations, corruption charges. And if Chris Watts was approached by the Brotherhood, he just became a federal witness. Now think about what that means. Chris Watts, the man who murdered his entire family, might be cooperating with federal agents to take down one of the most dangerous prison gangs in America. Some people would call that redemption. I call it survival. Because Chris Watts doesn't care about justice. He doesn't care about taking down the Brotherhood. He cares about staying alive. And
well, a few minutes ago, you were claiming, or, you know, this AI was claiming that he'd been in protective custody for nearly every day of his life since he's been in prison. So how is he at risk if he's in protective custody or isolation on his own? If he's segregated down the block or on his own, he wouldn't see anybody. The only times he would get to see people is either when he's collecting his food, because American prisons have that system, it looks like, where they got the big open prison and they go down for their food and they have it at a table and then they lock up again, whereas like these old Victorian prisons in Britain, category B prisons, which he's not in, like the Victorian prisons in Wales, like Swansea, prisoners come down from their cells, they grab their food and they go back, and they've got the toilet and everything right next to where they eat. But whereas if you go to a working prison instead of a holding prison, like say Park in Bridgend, they're all open plan. they get unlocked. They come down, they have their food at a table, and then when they finish their meal, they go back up, and then they get locked away again. And then they get let out to go to a job, and then they come back, they get locked away again. They get locked up, they get unlocked, and they have their evening meal or afternoon work, and then come back from that, get locked up, and then afternoon meal, evening meal, they get locked up again, or an hour exercise. I'll be honest, I don't know the ins and outs of the American prison system. If anybody is in isolation, down the block, segregation, whatever you want to call it, there wouldn't be anybody else there with him. And they'd only have so many of them locked up. What benefit is he to them? Because he wouldn't be mixing with other people. He wouldn't be getting any goods or anything, contraband or anything in. And if he's got all this knowledge of something, then why hasn't he been pursued for this knowledge before? Why now, 7 years later, when he would have had the knowledge 7 years ago, when he first went into the prison? He hasn't been anywhere to get any more knowledge, so it just doesn't make sense. I'm not trying to put another channel down, but I'm just saying it causes problems. I'm not trying to put somebody down, because that's just not my character, and it causes problems for other people, other channels, because ultimately it does cause confusion. I suppose really it depends what you want out of your channel. If you want the clicks and the drama, then just put out lies and put out absolute, garbage, I suppose. A lot of that does travel, a lot of it gets clicks, it gets views, and there we are. That's the state of it, unfortunately. Tell me what you think. Do you think I'm right, or do you think I should just shut up and leave this sort of stuff be? Or does it need to be called out? I've purposely left the name of the channel off, because we don't want people going over there and slagging this stuff off, slagging the people off. I them just be a little bit more careful in what they're putting out. And if it is true, then I'll come on and make a video and I'll apologize, but I don't think any of this is true. The script's all over the place, the sentences don't make any sense, the names are pronounced wrong. It is AI narrated, so we could forgive that. I could forgive that. But yeah, at the start they said they cared so much about the family. Well, if you care so much about the family, you wouldn't let it get the names wrong or mispronounce names. So I don't want to come across as a dick and saying this channel's crap or whatever. I don't want to come across like that. I hope this is coming across okay. If I get backlash for it, I'll get backlash for it, because it's what I believe. And I do believe stuff like this hurts people, hurts creators. Just let me know in the comments. I'm sure you'll let me know. I'll have a load of comments now saying, Paddy, you dickhead. I have a load of people abusing me now in the comments.
Thank you.
I'm a big boy. Surely people can see the point I'm trying to make. Okay.
If that means becoming a federal informant, he'll do it in a heartbeat. If my theory is correct. And again, I'm working with limited information here. This case is about to get much bigger. We're talking about federal indictments against Brotherhood leadership corruption charges against correction officers, a complete restructuring of Wisconsin's prison security protocols. And at the center of it all, Chris Watts. The man who destroyed his family might end up being the key to dismantling one of America's most violent criminal organizations. I need to know what you're thinking right now.
Chris Watts is valuable information that he's got in his head. He's going to take down the Brotherhood running prison systems longer than you care to remember. Little old Chris Watts is going to take down every single one of them. What do we think?
If Chris Watts cooperates with the FBI and helps take down the Aryan Brotherhood, does that change
Let's just finish the end of this one.
Does that count as some form of redemption? Or is he still the same monster, just doing whatever it takes to survive? This case forces us to ask uncomfortable questions about our entire criminal justice system. Should prisons be about punishment or rehabilitation? Should we protect inmates from gang violence? One more thing before we wrap up. Shanann Watt's story has had an unexpected...
Again.
In the 6 years since her murder, there's been a 67% increase in domestic violence awareness programs. Sales of home security systems have increased. Women are more willing to report controlling behavior. Friends and family are more willing to intervene when they see warning.
Why would more women be more likely to report controlling behavior because of the Chris Watts case? Chris wasn't controlling. It's not like he was on her back all the time. It was the other way around, really, but it's not like Chris was a complete control freak. Do you know what I mean? So that doesn't make sense either. Something else that doesn't make sense. And it's like 7,000 views. Doesn't make sense. The sentence and the scripting doesn't make sense at all. Don't even think we need to watch another one, but... Okay guys, that's today's video. That wasn't planned at all. It's just something I started and it's been on my mind for a bit. I hope it didn't come across like a complete dick. I just want to know if people are seeing what I see when I watch these channels like this. If the person that made this channel watches this video, I'm sorry, but it's just the way I feel about these AI videos. There's a lot of us. I'm relatively new to the scene. Like, there's people who have been working on this stuff for years and years, and they work hard to make sure that the facts get out there and to keep their reputations intact. So that's today's video. Put what you think in the comments. Hopefully I won't get too much backlash. I'd like to thank Destronic for sponsoring the video. Go to their website, use code PADDY. They've got the offers on until December the 1st. Thank you to the members. Thank you to my mods. Go over to the Discord if you can and join the Discord community. And I'll catch you on the next one. The other creator I featured, Wax Unfiltered, go and have a look at his website. Not his website, his YouTube channel, Wax Unfiltered. He covers the Jay Slater case in a lot of depth. I'll be going over it for my audience soon, because most of my audience isn't British, so I'm going to do some British cases. I've started the merch today, so that'll be up and running soon. I just need to know whether to release some Christmas themed merch first or just do normal merch. I've put a poll up in the Discord and I've put a poll up in the community post. Thank you all guys. Tomorrow or the day after will be another interview. We're nearly the end of these interviews now. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, these cases can be emotional and stressful, and most of all, don't have nightmares. There won't be any outtakes tonight because it's just a different type of video. Thanks guys.